It's time to do my follow-up list now, and show that there are a few albums that I like that aren't exactly showered with kisses by everyone else. This list consists of LPs that are disliked by fans, negatively reviewed by critics, or hated by the artists themselves. Or, all those things. Also, it's worth mentioning that I won't include any albums that were badly received at first, but are now praised. However, there will be an entry that's on my list that is the exact opposite of that. Number 10, R.E.M. Monster. With the mellow, folk-tinged releases Out of Time and Automatic for the People, R.E.M. struck a chord with the general public, but when the raw, distorted sounds of Monster came around, they kind of alienated them. Monster got pretty good reviews, but regular people weren't too sure about it, probably due to how different it was, and even to this day it's rarely brought up in conversation. I think this is absolutely unacceptable because Monster is filled with catchy, dynamic songs that are simply too good to ignore. It's also pretty consistent, you won't find any bad tracks here, and the guitar work is incredibly impressive, even if it isn't the band's signature jangle. The Blue Tones return to the Last Chance Saloon. This is a strange one. Critics admit that this album makes few mistakes, but pretty much all of them say it's forgettable. Can we just agree to disagree? For God's sake, this is the one with If, which is easily the Blue Tones' most memorable song. It also has other gems like 4 Day Weekend and Solomon Bites the Worm, but the main reason why I like Return to the Last Chance Saloon is because it has so much variety, and not once does it drag. There are 1 or 2 weak songs, but they end quickly. I think the journalists really got it wrong with this sophomore effort. Number 8, Angel Witch, Frontal Assault. This is one you've probably never heard of. For those of you who don't know, Angel Witch are an early 80s metal band from London. Their debut album is something of a cult classic, and it influenced a vast array of thrash metal bands. Frontal Assault, on the other hand, was a production nightmare, with many arguments and fallings out. Frontman Kevin Hayborn hated this album so much that he disowned it, and now it's out of print. Speaking of print, critics weren't too keen on it either, but personally, I love it. The recording sounds a disgrace, but the compositions are diverse, heavy, melodic, and actually quite memorable. The crown jewel is definitely Straight From Hell, which not only has a great chorus, but absolutely gorgeous verses too. If you want to know if you like Frontal Assault, pause this video and search for Straight From Hell on YouTube. If you like it, you'll probably enjoy the rest. Number 7, Judas Priest, Ram It Down. This is a record Priest fans hate more than The Warm Side of the Pillow, but I have to admit, it's not that bad. Trust me, I get it. Ram It Down sounds dreadfully overproduced. It has a drum machine instead of Dave Holland, and the cover of Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good needs to be taken round the back and shot, but I still kinda like it. Firstly, this is a much heavier album than its odious predecessor, Turbo, thanks to the stripped down synthesizers, but secondly and most importantly, the guitar work is mind-blowing. K.K. Downing and Glenn Tipton's interplay is so godlike that I can overlook this album's obvious flaws. Number 6, Sum 41, Underclass Hero. Pop punk is easily one of the worst things since those car insurance adverts that try to be funny, but I'm quite fond of Sum 41. This is because they're huge metal fans, just like me, and as a result they do things that their contemporaries just don't do, like play intricate guitar solos and tinker with breakneck speeds. Underclass Hero came out in 2007 and was billed as a far more ambitious and mature album than anything they'd done before. Unfortunately, the critics were mixed but mostly derisive of this effort, finding it a bit too patchy. And while it's not as mature as it wants you to think, I still rate Underclass Hero quite high. This is because it has a nice blend of hook-laden pop-punk tunes and softer songs. The former definitely blow the latter out of the water, but the softer ones still have nice, if a bit manipulative, melodies. Number 5. Travis, The Boy With No Name. As anyone who has heard The Boy With No Name will tell you, it doesn't break any new ground. It's pretty damn similar to the Invisible Band and their best effort, The Man Who. That might have seemed a fair criticism at the time, but since then Travis have gone a different direction, so now we can cherish this album as the last Man Who clone. What appeals to me about The Boy With No Name is that it doesn't just consist of slow, gloomy tracks with a thick wall of sound. It has a few upbeat songs that were lacking on previous albums. I especially like Selfish Gene because of its fast tempo, which makes it sound like the band briefly stepping out of their comfort zone. Number 4, Megadeth, So Far, So Good, So What. This is the one that got good reviews from the press at first, but is now seen as a bit meh. In my opinion, it's only a bit short of being as good as the two outstanding albums it's sandwiched between. Lyrically, it's nowhere near as strong as the other releases from this band, but musically there's little to complain about. There are fast driving songs like Hook and Mouth, ballads like In My Darkest Hour, and the riveting instrumental Into the Lungs of Hell. If you like Megadeth's other 80s albums, there aren't many reasons for you not to enjoy this one. Number 3, Manic Street Preachers, Gold Against the Soul. Ah yes, one of my favourite bands once again find themselves on a list video. Generation Terrorists is still regarded as a good album today. This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours won awards. Everything Must Go and The Holy Bible are regarded as two of the greatest albums of all time. Gold Against the Soul remains controversial even nowadays. This was seen as a blatant attempt to sell out due to the preposterously clean recording sound, to the much less political lyrics, to the use of soft to loud melodies. Yes, even the band members themselves admit that they were trying to go under the corporate wing. While its intentions weren't exactly noble, I still love Gold Against the Soul. It has a far more agreeable length than Generation Terrorists. It has real drums, and while the lyrics aren't as political as on its predecessor, they're still first class, and actually quite relatable at times. The compositions are pretty solid too, and can have a real sense of grandeur to them, especially in songs like La Tristesse Durera and From Despair to Where. Finally, the hooks are absolutely infectious. I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to Nostalgic Pushhead or Roses in the Hospital, because I don't think such a number has been invented yet. Bottom line, Gold Against the Soul rules, just like all of the MANIC's 90s albums. Number 2, The Cure, Wish. You know what? You're wrong. You're all wrong. This album is awesome. Wish gets a bad rap because it came after Disintegration and wasn't as good, but honestly, this is a stupid reason to dismiss this release. They couldn't possibly better Disintegration, and on its own terms, Wish is 65 minutes of fine music. I could go on and on about how brilliant this album is, but all I have to say is, Friday I'm in Love. Yes, Wish has that song. Now you know that I was being serious. And finally, number 1, Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark. Yeah, I kind of like Fear of the Dark. I do. It's no masterpiece, but it's not bad at all. Some parts do reek of filler, and a bit of a trim would have done it well, but Fear of the Dark works for me because all of the things I like about Maiden are in here. Bruce Dickinson's vocals are just as powerful as they always have been. Steve Harris's bass lines gallop around like a horse on fire. The twin guitar attack is head-bangingly good. The lyrics aren't quite as good as they normally are, and I think these guys should have demonstrated a bit more quality control with regards to the track list, but I find Fear of the Dark to be quite good. Lynch me.